Jai Saparikashi Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Thank you. Jai Viṣṇu Paramamsa Paribrajaka Astatar Sataśrī Śrīman Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Mahārāj Ki Jai. Jayam Viṣṇu Paramamsa Paribrajaka Astatar Sataśrī Śrīman Śrīla Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Mahārāj Ki Jai. Welcome to Śrī Chaitanya Sāraswat Mission morning class. Dandavad. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Haribo. Jai, reading from Śrī Chaitanya Charitāmṛta. This is now continuing on the 15th chapter of Antya-līlā. Oh, did you read something? Did you put the marker forward? Okay. Well, I'm going to go back a little bit, just because I want to hear them. Okay. I think we left off, but maybe I think that it was here in verse number 80. So verse number 79. Jai Jai Śrī Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhāgavatāmṛta. Jai Śrī Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaura. Jai Śrīla Kṛṣṇa Kaviraj Ki Jai. Śrīla Om Viṣṇupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. So I'm just going to read the English of these verses to catch up from the reading yesterday. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, I just now had Kṛṣṇa, but unfortunately I have lost him again. By nature, Kṛṣṇa is very restless. He does not stay in one place. He meets with someone, enchants his mind, and then disappears. The gopis became proud of their great fortune. To subdue their sense of superiority and show them special favor, Keshava, the subduer of even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, disappeared from the rasa dance. And this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said to Swarup Damodar Goswami, please sing a song that will bring consciousness to my heart. Thus, for the pleasure of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar Goswami began very sweetly singing the following verse from Gita Govinda. Here, in the arena of the rasa dance, I remember Kṛṣṇa, who is always fond of joking and performing pastimes. When Swarup Damodar Goswami sang this special song, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately got up and began to dance in ecstatic love. At that time, all 8 kinds of spiritual transformations became manifest in Lord Chaitanya's body. The 33 symptoms of Yabachari Bhava, beginning with lamentation and jubilation, became prominent as well. All the ecstatic symptoms, such as Bhavodaya, Bhavasandhi and Bhavasubalya awakened in the body of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A great fight arose between one emotion and another, and each of them became prominent. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had Swarup Damodar sing the same verse again and again. Each time he sang it, the Lord tasted it anew. And thus he danced again and again. And this is also the experience of the great devotees who have love for Kṛṣṇa in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. They're experiencing new and new ecstasies that have never been known before. After the Lord had been dancing for some time, Swarup Damodar Goswami stopped singing the verse. Over and over again, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Go on, sing, sing." But Swarup Damodar, seeing the Lord's fatigue, did not resume singing. When the devotees heard Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say, "Go on singing," they all gathered around him and began to chant the holy name of Hari in unison. At that time, Ramananda Rai made the Lord sit down and dissipated his fatigue by fanning him. Then all the devotees took Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the beach and bathed him. Finally, they brought him back home. Bhojana Karanya Prabhure Karayela Shayana Ramanandadi Shabegela Nijastana. After they fed him lunch, they made him lie down. Then all the devotees, headed by Ramananda Rai, returned to their respective homes. Eta kahilum prabhura ujjana vihara Vrindavana brahme jahan pravesha tahara. Thus I have described Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in the garden, which he entered, mistaking it for Vrindavan. Excuse me. Pralapa sahita unmada varnana Śrī Rupa Gosai iha kariyachena varnana. There he exhibited transcendental madness and ecstatic ravings, which Śrī Rupa Goswami has described very nicely in his Stavamala as follows. I'm so sorry for my voice this morning. I'm sorry, excuse me. Payorat Shestires Purat Upavanali Kalanaya Muhur Vrindaranya Smarana Janita Prema Vibhasha Kvajit Krishna Vritti Pachala Rasano Bhakti Rasikaha Śrī Chaitanya King Me Punarapi Drisho Yasyati Padam. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the topmost of all devotees. Sometimes, while walking on the beach, he would see a beautiful garden nearby and mistake it for the forest of Vrindavan. Thus he would be completely overwhelmed by ecstatic love of Kṛṣṇa and began to chant the holy name and dance. His tongue worked incessantly as he chanted, "Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, will he again become visible before the path of my eyes?" This is a quotation of verse 6 of the Chaitanyastika by Śrīla Rupa Goswami's, in Śrīla Rupa Goswami's Stavamala. Ananta Chaitanya-līlā na jaya likana Then Matra, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. Is that really irritating to listen to that?
No.
It's okay? No? Okay. Ananta Chaitanya Lila Nayaya Likana Dinmatra De Kanya Taha Kariye Suchana. The pastimes of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are unlimited. It is not possible to write of them properly. I can only give an indication of them as I try to introduce them. So the infinite is infinite. It's not that any part of the infinite is not infinite. The pastimes of Mahaprabhu are an infinite characteristic. So who can describe them? It's quite impossible. Śrī Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Asha Chaitanya Charitāmṛta Kahe Krishna Das, praying at the lotus feet of Śrī Rupa and Śrī Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Das, narrate Śrī Chaitanya Charitāmṛta, following in their footsteps. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to Śrī Chaitanya Charitāmṛta Antya-līlā, 15th chapter, describing Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in the garden by the sea. And it's very nice to go through the book, Chaitanya Charitāmṛta. Just reading Śrīla Bhaktivinod Ṭhākur's introduction to each verse, and the summary of each chapter, and just remember, oh yes, this is when this happened, this when that happened. So, chapter 16. Lord Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tastes nectar from the lips of Lord Shri Krishna. The 16th chapter is summarized by Śrīla Bhaktivinod Ṭhākur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhāsya. When the Bengali devotees of the Lord returned to Jagannāth Purī, a gentleman named Kalidas, who was an uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami, went with them to see Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kalidas had tasted the remnants of food of all the Vaishnavas in Bengal, even Jadu Thakur. Because of this, he received the shelter of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannāth Purī. When Kavi Karnapur was only 7 years old, he was initiated by Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He later became the greatest poet among the Vaishnava Acharya. When Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate the remnants of food known as Balabha Bhog, he described the glories of such remnants of the Lord's food, and then fed all the devotees the prasadam. Thus they all tasted Andaramrita, the nectar from the lips of Lord Shri Krishna, what he has tasted. Haribol Jai, text number 1. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Krishna Bhavamritam Hiya Asvadyasva Dayan Bhaktan Prema Diksham Ashikshayat. Please, let me offer my obeisances, my respectful obeisances, unto Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personally tasted the nectar of ecstatic love for Krishna, and then instructed his devotees how to taste it. Thus he enlightened them about ecstatic love of Krishna to initiate them into transcendental knowledge. Oh, that's a kind of wondrous verse. So, let me read that again. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personally tasted the nectar of ecstatic love for Krishna, and then instructed his devotees how to taste it. Thus he enlightened them about ecstatic love of Krishna to initiate them into transcendental knowledge. So this initiation is a constant thing. The great souls are always trying to give this entrance into something wonderful. Jaya Jaya Śrī Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinod. All glories to Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to the devotees of the Lord. Mata Mahāprabhu Rahe Nīla Chale Bhaktagana Shange Sada Prema Vivale. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus stayed at Jagannāth Purī in the association of his devotees, always merged in ecstatic devotional love. So just as Kṛṣṇa is never alone, Kṛṣṇa is not alone. He has so many associates, and he's always engaged in this divine, ecstatic, reciprocal relationships, and in Leela, and in exactly that way. Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also never alone. He's always in the association of his devotees. One or two times we found he's suddenly gone out of a room which is fully locked, and they're finding him alone in the Singadwar gate. But a very short time, then the devotees are arriving on the scene. This is the nature of the Lord. Vasantare aile Shavagodera Bhaktakana Purvavada Shikaila Prabhura Milana. The next year, as usual, all the devotees from Bengal went to Jagannāth Purī, and, as in previous years, there was a meeting between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees. So when they arrive in Jagannāth Purī, every year the devotees from Bengal are going to Puri, and as usual, Mahaprabhu comes out and meets everyone. Tansabara Sange Aila Krishna Dasana Kali Dasanama Krishna Nama Bina Teho Nahi Kaheyana. Along with the devotees from Bengal came a gentleman named Kalidas. He never uttered anything but the holy name of Kṛṣṇa. Maha Bhagavata Teho Sharala Udara Krishna Nama Shankete Chalaya Vyavahara. Kalidas was a very advanced devotee, yet he was simple and liberal. He would chant the holy name of Kṛṣṇa while performing all of his ordinary dealings. Yesterday when I was at home, I was listening to a talk, and Guru Maharaj, this talk I've heard a few times, but you can never hear, these talks are very deep, so there's always so much more to gain. But he's quoting Om Tat Viṣṇu Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Suraya Divi Vikshakshuratatam. And how we have to meditate on this. Now we are feeling some substantial support from the hard ground beneath my feet, or from the meanderings of the mental plane, and fulfilling the desires and avoiding the aversions of the mind. And that we feel, okay, now this is what I am and this is who I am, and I'm situated firmly here. But Guru Maharaj is saying, just like the sun, the rays of the sun are also touching the earth. They're also touching the mountains and the water in the ocean. But what is the shelter? What is the home of the rays of the sun? Can anyone say?
The home of the rays of the sun?
Sun globe.
the sun. So we are also like this. We are also transcendental spiritual beings. We are not matter, and our home, our shelter, is above our head, like the ray of the sun. It may seem that he lives on the earth, but he doesn't have his shelter on the earth. The earth is not giving any shelter or vitality, actually, to the sun ray. And we have to hear this, but we also have to remember it. Just to remember. So this Kalida, that we are beginning to hear about him, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying he doesn't do anything, his ordinary dealings, without the shelter of the holy name. He knows where his shelter is, and he's not leaving it even for a moment. So this is a really beautiful thing to meditate upon. And that verse is a very important verse. I would like a picture, like a frame painted somewhere, that has that verse inside of it. Om Tat Viṣṇu Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Suraya Diviva Chakshuratatam. It would be a very beautiful thing. It could even be here above this painting. It's a really... Anyways, it's just a thought, but sometimes you hear a verse and you think, yeah, this is so central for our life, and so we want to. In fact, to be honest, I'd like verses painted all over the temple. One above the mirror with the tilak. So many beautiful verses that are really central. Guru Maharaj is giving two main ones. This one he's saying is very important for our meditation. And where am I taking shelter? Where is my necessity? It's above my head. It is, my home is above my head, not under my feet. And the other, of course, Tatenu Kampam Sushmikshimano, giving us our full relationship with the environment, proper relationship. And then, Nahi Kalyanakut Kaschit, from Bhagavad Gita, that we will not be afraid. That if I spend my life and energy in this pursuance of this path, I may not be successful fully in this lifetime. We really can't expect that. But there will not be any bad result from that attempt. That attempt. Maybe some other things that we're doing are going to have a bad result. But that attempt can never end in a bad result. That will always be a good result. So, and then this morning I heard something. Sorry, my brain's not working. I suddenly forgot what I was going to say. Jai Śrī Chaitanya Charitāmṛta ki jai. Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai. Śrīla Om Viṣṇupād A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Oh yes, Guru Maharaj is talking about Tatenu Kampam. No, he's talking about Trinadapi Sunichena Taror. He said many, many births may be required to remove one layer of ego. But of course, through surrender, this is a shortcut. Guru Maharaj said, it is a shortcut. But if I am battling my own ego, myself, what can I expect? Can a madman cure his own madness? If you say to a madman, well, it's just, a matter of consciousness and perspective, he's just going to be like, isn't that possible to understand all that? we can understand something, though, because of the power of the words of our gurus. But there, he's recommending you must surrender to the Lord and let Him remove these things, one after another, instead of battling. He said the real battle is with the ego. That battle is won through peacefulness. The battle with the ego is won through peacefulness. Amanina manadena. That's so. If we hear these things over and over again, then when the battlefront comes to my, when the battle comes to in front of me, then I can remember these words. But it takes some time and practice and sushamiksha, very fine self-analysis. Not analysis, that's not a good word, but examination, self-examination. How did I do? Was that my ego? Did I win the battle? Or did I lose the battle? Anyway, the war will be won. But we want to win as many battles on the way as we can. And there's no situation that a person can be in which he cannot take shelter of the holy name. The holy name is not minimized by the depth of my suffering or my ego. If we sincerely reach up, that rope is there for the boat that will reduce this material world to the size of the water in a hoofprint of a calf. Illusion is only illusion. It's not a big thing. It's not a substantial thing that takes a bunch of machinery to break down. How wonderful is this time that the influence of Mahāprabhu is still here. It won't be forever, but it will be for some time. And after that, you don't want to be here. If you think of the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, before Mahāprabhu arrived.
Up in a different universe.
And then when the Renaissance came, nobody knows why. But I have to think that it was the influence of Mahāprabhu, because there was no reason why suddenly everybody started, you know what? I think I should bathe myself. And the Europeans are so proud of their civilization. Hare Krishna. All right, we are now going to read from Brihad Bhāgavatāmṛta by the grace of our Sri Gurudev. Jai Śrī Bṛhad Bhāgavatāmṛta ki Jai Śrīla Krishna Das Śrīla Sanatana Goswami ki Jai Sadgoswami Prabhu ki Jai Śrī Rupa Nuga Guru-varga ki Jai Śrī Madan Mohan ki Jai. Madan Mohan, Śrī Radha Madan Mohan are the deities of Sanatana Goswami. And these days I keep remembering that temple in Vrindavan because I'm thinking about going there, fairly soon if I'm able. But even just remembering, one day when we were in Vrindavan with Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, many friends, Madhusudan Maharaj said, let's go in the boat. Take a boat ride in the Jamuna. And going down the Jamuna River and seeing all, Kaliyagat, Madan Mohan Temple, and all these things. I remember specifically Madan Mohan Temple. And the sun was getting low in the sky, and we were chanting Brahma Samhita and other songs. It was a very lovely day.
The mud on the other side of the Yamuna is like silk and sparkling. Literally saying it's very beautiful boat ride.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
And the other side also from that place is where Lakshmi Devi did her penances to enter into the Rasa Leela, which is a very significant thing for us because Mahāprabhu went to the home of Venkatabhata and showed him the superiority of Vrindavan over the worship of Lakshmi Narayan, and showed him very nicely with regard to these penances, because in spite of that, she could not enter into the Rasa Leela, but she wanted to. But the Braja Gopis have no desire to enter into the Leela of Lord Narayan. But that is, we're keeping all these things on our head, but still we have to understand these ontological points. Otherwise we will be misled. We have to apply our intelligence to understand all these things carefully. They're not speaking for no one. They're speaking for us. And our intelligence will become purified and strengthened by applying our consciousness to these matters, by their grace, not in some mechanical way, but by their grace. Their words will purify our hearts. So now we're on page 377 of this book, the first volume of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. I'm going to go back a couple of verses now. Those Pāṇḍavas never desire anything material because they constantly serve Lord Kṛṣṇa's lotus feet. And indeed, their own lotus feet are worshipped by the spiritual masters of the Paramahamsas. The eldest of these brothers rules the state out of love for the personality of Godhead. Who knows the eldest brother of the Pandavas' name? The eldest brother is Yudhiṣṭhir. Thus his kingdom is rich in all sorts of assets rarely enjoyed by the demigods. Following the lead of King Yudhiṣṭhir, his younger brothers helped him rule the kingdom, but were not attracted to material enjoyment. We think, what? Not at all. They don't see anything material, you see. Material is in the eye. They don't even see material. They only see what is paraphernalia for the service of the Lord, because they love that life. That life is infinite, always increasing, incredibly varied, and totally nectarian. But enjoying what's in the senses is like hitting yourself over the head. Believe me, I know a lot about this. The five brothers are universally famous for their cooperative spirit. This is another point. And their zeal in upholding the highest principles of human civilization. Raja Suyasvamed Bahi Avimedhadi Mahapunyarjitastata Viṣṇu Lokadayo Trapi Jambodvipadirajata. By sacrifices such as the Rajasuya and Asvamedha, he has earned pious credits great enough for attaining the world of Lord Viṣṇu. And while still in this world, he rules the entire sphere of Jambudvīpa. Commentary: Vedic sacrifices usually earn their performers material benefits up to the attainment of heaven. But because Yudhiṣṭhir conducted the Rajasuya and Asvamedha sacrifices in pure Krishna consciousness and offered all the fruits heartfeltly, not by ritual, offered all the fruits to satisfy Śrī Krishna, the benefits Yudhiṣṭhir derived were transcendental. Everything can be done in different kinds of consciousness. So we're not checking as much what we're doing as in what mood we're doing it. His engagement in sacrificial rituals only increased his exclusive devotion for Krishna, because he's doing it for Krishna. By performing the Rajasuya and Asvamedha sacrifices, Yudhiṣṭhir earned the privilege to enter Vaikuntha. Included automatically in this privilege was the right to the heavenly planet of Indra and every other type of material planet. The joy of life in Vaikuntha automatically includes all the joys found in Svargaloka and elsewhere. And in addition to these benefits for the next life, Yudhiṣṭhir prospered in this life as well. So, Yudhiṣṭhir's nature is very peaceful. I mean, he's a Kshatriya, but he's like a Kshatriya scholar. When they were banished to live in the jungle, he was very peaceful. He would just go to the hermitages of the great yogis and sadhus, and he'd sit and listen to them. He was perfectly happy. And Bhima was like, and Draupadi, oh, this is terrible. I can't even serve you. I'm just bringing you some roots.
Except for Draupadi, she was very angry.
But Yudhiṣṭhir is very peaceful. Trailokya, and also these Asvamedha sacrifices. You see, if you read the Mahabharata entirely, you can see that it's like a gem found in a basket of religiosity, especially Bhagavad Gita. And the amount of religiosity and the particulars of it are mind-blowing. So when Krishna says Sarvadharman Parityajya, I was like, that is a hugely revolutionary statement in that environment. For us, it's like, well, okay, I gave up religion a long time ago, But to say that to them at that time, it is unbelievable. So these many historical personalities mentioned in Mahabharata were performers of incredible sacrifices. These Asvamedha sacrifices, the horse sacrifice, in which by mantra, a horse is given a new life. But if it's done wrong, the horse dies, and then there's a sinful reaction. So it's very difficult to perform, and it requires an inconceivable amount of wealth to do it. There are many stories about this sacrifice, but many of the personalities mentioned in the Mahabharata are doing these things because they want to be seated in at the table of Indra. That's what they want to do. And even in the beginning of the Brihad Bhāgavatāmṛta, the Brahmin and the king, the Brahmin in northern India and the king in southern India, they are performing many wonderful things, but they want to be in heaven. So the king said, you should go see Indra. I'm just this measly little king on the earth planet. So you can see there's much devotion, but the goal is very much mixed with karma. But in the case of Yudhiṣṭhir, who performed these sacrifices perfectly, he had no interest in the heavenly planets at all. It's like a dream to him. It's like a non-substantial thing. So this is wonderful to hear. We must hear about the great personalities.
Wonderful, we don't have to do those.
Yeah, and we also...
sacrifices. That's wonderful news.
Well, yeah, that's also true. We're so fortunate to be in the Kali Yuga. We don't have to do anything but chant the holy name. But there's a little more to chanting the holy name than we first thought. Text 114.
Infinite.
Trailokya vyapakam swacham yashascha vishayapare suranam sprihaniyaje sarvadosha vivarjitaha. His pure fame is known throughout the three worlds. His faultless possessions evoke the envy of the gods. His faultless possessions. There's nothing mundane, even in his possessions. Krishna prasada janita, Krishna eva samarpita, nashakan kam api pritin, ragyo janaitung kvachit. The king achieved all this opulence by Krishna's mercy and has offered it all to Krishna. It never had any power to please him. In themselves, none of this opulence is a source of pleasure for him, but that it is connected to Krishna's service. That is all pleasing for him. He's living in the conscious plane, not in the unconscious plane of things. Commentary: Yudhiṣṭhir Maharaj had at his command all that a civilized gentleman might like to enjoy in this world. Even the demigods on higher planets could only dream of such opulence. And he not only enjoyed fabulous opulence in his life, but could expect still more in the next. Because Yudhiṣṭhir was a pure devotee, even his material riches were faultless. You could say material, meaning something that could be perceived through the senses. But he is not seeing them like this.
All offered to Krishna.
Yes. Material means it's for me.
Doesn't matter.
That's what material means. And therefore, in our dealings with each other, we also do not want to be material. It's for me. I'm going to exploit this person. This is not friendship. It's not friendly at all. In contrast to the wealth, knowledge, and other assets of people in this world, his assets were permanent because their source was Shri Krishna's satisfaction rather than material course of karma. When Yudhiṣṭhir offered his assets back to Krishna, no possibility remained that they would corrupt him. Those assets, being dedicated to Krishna in selfless love, could only further enhance the virtue of Yudhiṣṭhir's character. So there is nothing to be feared. There's nothing to be feared in the environment of someone who is Krishna conscious. Means conscious of Krishna. And who is Krishna? The only enjoyer. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo. He is the only enjoyer. Is there a second enjoyer? I'd like to know who. There's only one. And let him take care of what is necessary for me. Gradually, gradually. And that's a bitter pill, Guru Maharaj says. A bitter pill for the material person. But for the transcendental person is the source of unlimited happiness just to hear that. Because he's fully experiencing the great joy of love for Kṛṣṇa. But for us it's like, well, I'm a little bit an enjoyer. I mean, a little bit. But the thing is, the soul, we, as the soul, want happiness. That's not going to go away. That just needs to become purified gradually through the process of sadhana bhakti. Krishna premagni dandabhya manata karanasyahi kshiragni vikalasyeva vasa chandanaadayaha. Since his heart always burns in the fire of love for Kṛṣṇa, those garlands, fine garments, and sandalwood pulp attracted him no more than they would attract a man afflicted by the fire of hunger. So, if you're covered with a garland, beautiful, garland, fine garments, in inconceivable environment where the walls are studded with gold and emeralds and rubies and diamonds, and your very thought is already known beforehand to the servants. They're just running with whatever you think. That environment did not attract him any more than if he were starving.
No difference.
There's no when you're hungry, you just want food. None of that will make your hunger go away. So the fire of love for Kṛṣṇa, the fire to serve him, what made these things irrelevant. They can be utilized in that, but for himself, they're irrelevant. Just like if you're starving and I give you a plate full of jewels, you'd be like, I'm hungry, I can't eat these. Isn't that a lovely thing? So, since his heart always burns in the fire of love for Kṛṣṇa, those garlands, fine garments, and sandalwood pulp attracted him no more than they would attract a man afflicted by the fire of hunger. So again, the chatak bird. He might be sitting in the middle of a lake, but he's like, this is not my water. This water has nothing to do with me. I can only drink water from the rain cloud. And he'll starve. He will die. Actually. Or he could get struck by lightning. But yata tatava vididatu lampato mat prananatastu saeva na paraha. You're my only Lord. Whatever you do, this way or that way, that's your business. But you're my only Lord. Lampato. Lampato, like we were reading just now in Chaitanya Charitāmṛta. He's restless. He's going this way and then he's going this way. But he's my only Lord. What were you going to say, Didi?
Guru Maharaj said that there is no famine in this world, only
the lack of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Yeah. And that's the truth. If we are intelligent and now analyze this, that's the only famine. And through sacrifice, all the ordinary things that have to keep the body together, those are automatically provided. That's not a problem. Through sacrifice, through the holy name, this whole world will be transformed. But that's not our goal. That's not even our business.
Exactly.
But so the only real dearth is the holy name. The only thing that's missing is the holy name of Kṛṣṇa. Because even we've all been in all the yugas many, many times. We've all lived in the Satya Yuga. We've all lived in the Treta Yuga. We've all lived in the Dwapara Yuga. And we've all lived in the Kali Yugas over and over and over again. It doesn't have any permanent existence. The Satya Yuga, your average lifespan is 100,000 years. So I think, if only I were in the Satya Yuga. Yeah, but then what after that? Jai Mahāprabhu, Jai Gurudev, Jai Śrī Gaura Ki Jai. Okay. Okay, I'll just read this commentary. The slightest touch of pure prema, love for Kṛṣṇa, destroys all faults in a devotee. It satisfies the devotee so completely that nothing inferior can divert his attention. To outsiders, the effect of prema may seem painful. The devotee seems to burn in torment while separated from the Lord. And even while enjoying the Lord's company, he burns in apprehension of separation to come. But in fact, viraha bhav, devotional service and separation, is the highest essence of loving ecstasy. The intimate devotees of Kṛṣṇa in Sri Vrindavan constantly experience viraha bhav. As Shukadeva Goswami says in describing the fall season in Vrindavan, Ashlisha samashitoshnan prasunavana janastapam jahur gopyo na Kṛṣṇa hrita chetasa. Except for the gopis whose hearts have been stolen by Kṛṣṇa, the people could forget their suffering by embracing the wind from the flower-filled forest. The wind was neither hot nor cold. The gopis of Vrindavan were so intensely absorbed in viraha bhav that the cool breezes of autumn only increased the burning in their hearts, because this was the time of year when the fever of their hankering to be with Kṛṣṇa reached its peak. Hanuman cites the analogy of a man suffering from hunger. Oh, this is Hanuman speaking, by the way. I forgot. So Hanuman is speaking to Narada, praising the Pāṇḍavas so much. The fire of extreme hunger dries up all the elements of the body, so that he can no longer enjoy the pleasure of clothes or other objects of enjoyment, or even the association of family and friends. Possessing worldly things merely adds to his frustration. Only when his hunger is removed will he be relieved of anxiety. Similarly, the gopis can be satisfied only by the company of Kṛṣṇa. Even those breezes coming from the Vrindavan forest, laden with the fragrance of flowers, which is very pleasing, not too hot, not too cold, it gives some relief, but not for the gopis. Everything increases the fire of their separation. Aho kim apare Srimad Draupadi Mahishi Bara Tadishapa Tara Srimad Bhimasen Arjun Nadayaha. Just see, the superlative queen is none other than Srimati Draupadi. And his brothers are such men as the blessed Bhimsen and Arjuna. He's again speaking about Yudhiṣṭhir. He's saying his superlative queen, his queen is the blessed Draupadi, whose name is also Kṛṣṇa, because she's actually a similar color to Kṛṣṇa. And his brothers are such men as the blessed Bhimsen and Arjuna. Na priyadehi sambandhan na chaturvargo sandhanat padam Śrī Krishna padabja prema sambandhata priya. They are dear to him not because of bodily ties or because they help him reach the four goals of material life. This is affection in the world. We came out of the same womb, or you came out of my womb, or you're the, bodily ties, or someone who helps you with dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. That's a friend in this world. But his love for his brothers and wife have nothing to do with any of those things. But because of their loving bond with the lotus feet of Śrī Krishna, that alone is the center of all of their relationships. And that was the case with all of them. To think of anything or anyone outside of Krishna was impossible for them. That's very beautiful, huh? Love that. They are dear to him not because of bodily ties or because they help him reach the four goals of material life, but because of their loving bond with the lotus feet of Śrī Krishna.
In Mahārāja, there is only one mention of Krishna in Goloka when Draupadi prays for help from Krishna, Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana.
Oh, that's not Draupadi. That's
the only one.
That's
only one mention of Goloka in
that's Kunti.
The Kunti Devi.
Yeah, Kunti.
So yes,
yeah.
Kunti Devi. Sorry.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Wasn't Draupadi also when he was unwrapped?
Well, she just said
Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana.
No.
I thought it was. Okay.
Anyway.
I thought that was, but...
Oh no, but that's okay. That was Kunti. The reason I remember that so well is because one time Gurudev was talking about that and he couldn't remember that verse that was spoken by Kunti Devi.
Possible. A similar scenario of needs.
Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
Clean Krishnaya Govindaya. I think it was Draupadi.
Oh, clean Krishnaya.
Clean Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana.
Oh, excuse me. I totally didn't hear you. Forgive me.
No. That was Draupadi.
I thought that was the verse that was spoken by Kunti.
Clean Krishnaya Govindaya.
Well, she said that?
Yeah. When she was unhappy. And
I totally forget.
The only mention of Krishna in Goloka in the whole thing. In the Mahāprabhu, because everything is Gorkha relations, but that only one when she was in such a dire.
But Kunti does say that one. Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Maybe she's also mentioning a little bit, but not of the gopis, not of the Braja gopis.
Gopijana Vallabhaya, Krishna, referring to Krishna from Goloka. Gopijana Vallabhaya.
Now what I'm saying is that Kunti also said Nanda Gopa.
Similar scenario of need, dire need.
Right. Yeah. So this is, from time to time, we will see that. And even on the Battle of of Kurukshetra, Krishna is saying that Mamekam Sharanam Braja. He's not, Braja has a different meaning, but it is the echo of Brajadam. Mm-hmm. But it's not so like Enakshi Didi is saying, it's not mentioned often and very,
exactly,
in a very huge context.
Can understand.
Okay, so next week, we could finish this. Well, let's finish this. This is only one more verse, actually. It is true that Yudhiṣṭhir was very much attached to his brother and wife, but that attachment was not material. It was not based on identification with material bodies, but on the pure spiritual identities of him and his family as eternal servants of Kṛṣṇa. Srimati Draupadi was the most excellent queen any emperor could have, and she was empowered with the beauty and other transcendental qualities of Lord Viṣṇu's consort, Lakshmi Devi. But Yudhiṣṭhir's affection for her was not due to being attracted by these qualities. He was completely immune to such attraction. Yudhiṣṭhir's brother and wife also offered him valuable assistance in fulfilling his responsibilities for Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. But these four aims of life were also powerless to distract him from his attachment to Sri Krishna's lotus feet. So he had that duty to do, and they're helping him with that duty, but that was just his duty. And his duty was completely being offered to the Lord. If the Lord said, okay, I don't want you to be king anymore, he'd be like, okay, see ya. He cherished his connection with Bhima, his other brothers, and Draupadi only because they have pure devotion for Kṛṣṇa. Janasangas. Janasangas is a very, very negative thing for us. To be associating with those who have no affection for Kṛṣṇa is just not, it is so unfavorable. Guru Dev said in this one lecture, it is the worst. It is the worst of all unfavorable things. Everything bad will come from it. Anything or anyone associated with Kṛṣṇa is dear to a pure Vaishnava. So when Vaishnavas come together, either in casual or lifetime relationships, they naturally develop love for one another. They relish great pleasure tasting together the rasas of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Their spiritual assets expand as each devotee's good qualities magnify those of his or her spiritual companions. In the family of the Pāṇḍavas, the wife and younger brothers especially benefited from following the lead of Yudhiṣṭhir because he was so devoted to Kṛṣṇa. Varnarena mayate sham nirvaktum sakyate kiyat mahatmyam bhagavan veti bhagavan vadikadikam. But what can a forest monkey like me say about the Pāṇḍavas? Your Lordship already knows much more than I about their glories. So Hanuman is certainly not a forest monkey. He's super great devotee. So Hanuman suggests that Narada, rather than spend more time listening to him, should at once proceed to the kingdom of the Kurus. That ends the 4th chapter of part 1 of Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita, entitled Bhakta, the devotee. And next chapters 5, Priya, the beloved.
Journey of Gopakumar.
Yeah, this is Gopakumar is the second volume. This is Narada.
Yeah.
First Narada.
Yes,
exactly. I know, yeah. And then Gopakumar.
Very, very beautiful.
Hari
Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Jai. Jai Śrī Bṛhad Bhāgavatāmṛta ki Jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru-varga ki jai.
Jai Shri Lekha Devi ki
No,
jai. All
no,
assembled
Haribol,
devotees
I
ki
heard
jai.
it.
Like Bhaktivedanta Swami said, we never know how many devotees in a room. Bhaktivedanta Swami, I remember that very beautiful, that he said, you never know, you cannot see, but maybe a lot of devotees in the room.
Oh, yes.
Or besides everything is really in service.
Yes, and this was when they made a big festival.
Sometimes
one time
in how you say assemble devotees when nobody.
Yeah.
Not so fast.
True. Hari Hari Nama Kṛṣṇa Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Nama Kṛṣṇa Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudam. Parikar Shri Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Jayam Viṣṇupāda Paramahamsa Paribrajaka Astu Terasati Shri Shriman Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Viṣṇupāda Paramahamsa Paribrajaka Astu Terasati Shri Shriman Śrīla Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami